August 9th, 1945, 11:02 a.m. Nagasaki. An atomic bomb was dropped on this land. In an instant, houses and buildings were burned to the ground. Countless people lost their lives, and the entire area was reduced to scorched ruins. I didn't understand what had happened. When I came to, I had been blown into a rice field. When I looked around, I saw that the skin on the faces of the 7 of us had been burned off, exposing the flesh underneath. The blazing sun beat down, searing our exposed skin. To ease the pain, even just a little, we pressed leaves onto our wounds. When we reached the river, many people had gathered there to drink water. The riverbank was completely covered with bodies, and oil was floating on the water. Even so, some people couldn't endure it. They drank the water, oil and all. As they drank, they collapsed and died on the spot. Don't drink water when you're injured. Endure it as long as you can. We remembered our teacher's words from that moment. We talked it over. Should we try to hold on? In the end, we decided not to drink the water. My mother came to the school to find me, but she was shocked by the horrifying scene. There were so many injured people lying down that she couldn't tell which one was me. So she went to each person, one by one, and whispered my name in their ear. Katsuji, Katsuji. That's how she found me. Then she took me home. When I got home, I was laid to rest inside a mosquito net. Because pus kept oozing from my wounds, my mother layered newspapers over the bedding and finally covered it with oiled paper before laying me down. In this way, my mother took care of me. But with my mother coming and going, flies got in, and they laid eggs on my body. Soon, maggots began to appear in my wounds. When my mother noticed, she used chopsticks to remove the maggots from my wounds. Each time the tip of the chopstick touched my injury, it hurt so badly I wanted to scream and cry. I was admitted to a hospital in Omura, where I had skin grafts taken from my thigh and transplanted to my face 3 times. The first 2 surgeries failed, but the 3rd one finally succeeded. Even after the bandages were removed, I couldn't bring myself to look at my face in the mirror. I already had a rough idea of what I looked like. After being discharged from the hospital in Omura, I boarded a train to return to Nagasaki. But what happened next? The train was packed with people, yet only the area around me was empty. And those stares. The eyes around me felt like arrows piercing into me. Hurry, please hurry and arrive. I kept repeating that in my heart, holding back my tears. After that humiliating experience on the train, I felt so sad that I shut myself inside my home. I couldn't stop worrying. What would happen to my face from now on? I didn't want anyone to see me, so I no longer wanted to go outside. I had no motivation to do anything at all. While I was shut inside the house, my hair had grown out of control, and my mother told me I should get it cut. I had been so overwhelmed by the state of my face that I hadn't even thought about my hair. Just as my mother said, I decided to get a haircut. But when it came time to go outside, I couldn't stop worrying about my face. I gathered all the courage I had and finally made up my mind to go to the barber. Everything was fine on the way there, but the moment I sat in the chair, the very thing I had feared most happened. A customer who came in after me saw my face reflected in the mirror and stared at me in shock, gazing at me intently through the mirror. That moment filled me with sudden frustration and anger. Panicking, I ran out of the shop and rushed home, and once again I shut myself away inside. My mother said to me, "You can't spend your whole life in the house. Try going for a walk." At first I said, "No, I don't want to." But after a few days, when I started to feel calmer, I decided to give it a try. But it was still the outside world. Every time I passed someone, I felt their cold, staring eyes. "Endure it. Endure it," I kept telling myself, practicing going outside again and again. Sometimes I would run into people during my walks. I would pass by groups of women chatting together. When they noticed me, they all fell silent at once and quickly looked away. Even without turning around, I could feel, painfully clearly, that they were talking about me. Another time, while I was walking, I ran into a neighbor. I gathered my courage and greeted their child with a "hello," but when the child saw my face, they suddenly burst into tears. Once again, I was shocked, realizing that my face was so frightening it could make a child cry. Every time someone saw my face, I was laughed at, met with looks of contempt, or spoken about behind my back. Each time I would shut myself away at home, but my mother always said to me, "Go outside. Go on. Go outside." She encouraged me again and again. Even when I refused to go, she sometimes scolded me firmly, and other times treated me with gentle kindness. Little by little, something began to grow inside me, a firm resolve. Nothing will change if I stay still. I have a mission to overcome this pain. I won't hide or run away anymore. I will stand tall as a hibakusha and tell the world how terrifying war truly is. I must pass this story on to people today. The fear of that time, the pain of that time. I must tell them that no one should ever have to suffer like that again, so that the peace we have now may last forever, so that no more hibakusha are ever created, so that Nagasaki remains the last place to experience the horror of the atomic bomb.
今の平和がいつまでも続くように、被爆者を二度と作らないように、長崎が最後の被爆地であるように。こんな風にお耳にこうされてたんですよね。でも昔はキムタクみたいにかっこよかったとか言っていつもそうやって笑わせて明るい、とってもでもそれまでにすごくいろんなね思春期ですから なんか気持ちを思うと辛かっただろうなって思います。高原寺でもこの80年を機に紙芝居作らせていただきましたので、これをお寺で大事に、お寺からも戦争反対、平和を伝えていきたいなと思っています。